Greetings, YouTube. Alright, today, this isn't going to be a stream, or a recording of a stream, but I'm going to show off a build that I've been working on for the last few days for my 8X mech on Season 5. And this is going to be a really weird build. You probably saw from the title of this video that it doesn't make much sense, but it's one of those things that's just weird enough to kind of work. So, let's go over a little bit. We're going to start with some gameplay. I'm going to show you how this thing works. So what we got here is quite possibly one of the strangest builds known to mankind. It is a auto spark tank hybrid. Now, I will go over in detail in a little bit about what is exactly happening here, but let me just go ahead to the Hellspawn here in Iron 1, and I'll just show it off real quick. Let's see. Let's get a Murky Force going. So we'll just position ourselves right in the middle. Pop everything. Use that. And then just start getting smacked. Literally, the point of this build is to just get hit. Of all things. Because it's using a few things to our advantage. That kind of unexpectedly chain well between some of the different builds in the game. Or for Mech, at least. So, I will get into more detail in a moment, but you can see right now that, I mean, we're tanking this just fine. We're not using any tanking skills, really. But we're doing just fine. We're killing things quickly. And there's one particular thing I would like you to look at right now. And it's, here, I'm just going to stop attacking real quick. Look how much damage my Spark Shield procs are doing. This is the key to this entire build there. They're hitting for over 1,000. You don't see that typically in this game. So why is that? Why am I all of a sudden proccing Spark for so much? Well, I will explain in a moment. But that is basically the key to everything with how this build works. And it basically turns an auto mech who is supposed to be all about single target damage into essentially having an AoE. And it's pretty fucking cool in my opinion. So anyway, let's head back to town. And let's talk about this. What is going on? You know what? I don't like this side of town. No, I don't like this side of town either. Alright, fine. We're doing it over here. We'll go over, like, this corner over here to explain it. Okay, so, what the hell is going on? Why is this a thing? So, let's talk about the gear first. It's probably going to be an easy thing to explain. So, pretty standard gear overall, as you can see. I mean, these are all just mech spec gears. Got an attack rating mix on my bracelets. That's just for automation, just to make sure I don't miss as much, because I am still doing a lot of automation damage. And then I'm doing a defense rating mix on my gauntlets. That is essential to this whole build. Everything else in here is basically whatever you want to do. Whatever is the most defensive, probably, for the armor and stuff. And, javelin. I always recommend the crit mix, for any... Honestly, I recommend the crit mix for everybody at this point in time. Because AoE can now crit. There is literally no reason not to take crit. The added HP bonus is... I mean, I'm even doing a tank build, and I still don't even care about the added HP bonus, so... Anyway, that's my preference. Boots I haven't even mixed yet, but I'm still kind of behind on gear a little bit. So anyway, let's look at the stats. So my stats, how I'm working this right now, is I am using the min requirement for everything, essentially, that I have on, and then putting all the extra into health. So technically I'm taking a damage loss on that, but it's working out in the end. So, oh, and I do this just because I need more tankiness is the problem, because this build is literally designed around tanking, but it's designed around tanking while at the same time you're not taking really any tank skills. So that combination of things is really atypical, so you need to do whatever you can to give you as much as possible. So now let's take a look at the skills. Oh, I wish we had a way of like showing this easier, but let's get into the essentials. So we're taking automation. Automation level 10. That is absolutely key to how this thing is going to work out. After that, I'll show this one next. Spark. I'm using Spark level 10. Now, this is really important because of that damage boost that it will eventually give to your Spark Shield, but we'll go over Spark Shield in a moment. The other thing from tier 1 through 3 that I took, which is going to sound very atypical, is compulsion. Now, I did this because, again, I'm not taking a tank skill. I'm using automation, so I don't have metal armor to help boost me. So I need to get any bit of tankiness that I can get out of this, and compulsion is going to do that. I think I calced it out, and it's going to add like somewhere around 30 abs right now. And basically, because of the cooldown and stuff, I mean, it pairs super well with this build because I want to be getting hit all the time. So I want to be casting compulsion basically at any moment it's off cooldown. So things will be hitting me more often, but it's also giving me the abs boost, so it pairs perfectly with that. All right, let's talk tier 1 through 4. Tier 1 through 4, just skip impulsion, not even going to use it. Spark Shield level 10. Now, you'd be like, Ash, this is Automech still thing, right? Why aren't you using EO? Well, it's because EO is really strong. Don't get me wrong, but I'm thinking right now, and this could be the one debatable part about this build, is I'm thinking the defense boost, the 200 defense boost you get from Spark Shield ranked up to 10, plus that attack power boost really does help more than what you're going to get out of EO. But I at least have level 1 EO. I think if you're doing this build and you're lower level than I am right now, I think I'm level 82, I would recommend getting up to level 1 EO to start with, and then leveling up Spark Shield as high as you can get it. And then I didn't even take Magnetic Sphere. I will pick it up next level, I think, just to have that kind of passive boost to my damage. But it's not a huge concern. I'll level that up to level 1, and then I will start leveling Electric Overload once I get past this. So there are some notable exceptions you'll realize if you're used to a lot of mech builds. I have not taken Mech Weapon Mastery. So I worked out the math on this for my character right now. If I took level 10 Mech Weapon Mastery, I'd be doing plus 10%, plus 10% damage. It's a good amount of damage, especially if you're, doing automech and stuff like that. But I felt that the tankiness and being able to make sure that I stand right in the middle of the hellspawn, getting hit as much as possible, is more important than that extra damage. Okay, so let's talk about the elephant in the room here. Why the hell was Spark Shield hitting for so much? Now, if you were to use Spark Shield normally at this level, and you were to pair it with the typical skill, like Maximize, you would be hitting for like 400 for each hit. So you'd be doing about half the damage. The thing is that Spark Shield is pairing off of Automation's attack power boost. So what ends up happening is, even though you're using Automation, your sparks are going way higher, or your Spark Shield hits are going way higher than what they would typically. And this is what makes the entire thing work together. Because if you can be, basically you sit in that hellspawn, you're hitting monsters, you try to focus on the ones that are like the bigger damage dealers, the slower attacking ones. You try to focus down those guys, and you let all the other monsters in the hellspawn just smack you. They just keep smacking you, and you just leave them be. And the passive damage that you're going to be getting from the Spark Shield is just going to kill them. Now, for some perspective with this build, I was using this earlier this week in CT2 for my solo quests. And I was finishing a CT2 solo quest in exactly 10 minutes. So if that puts some into some perspective for other builds. Now, in Iron 1, it's a harder map, and I'm not getting those speeds, but I can finish an Iron 1 solo queue right now in about 13 minutes. Is what I calced out. So let's go show this in action one more time. We're gonna head over to Railway, and I'll explain the play style a little bit more again. Okay. See if there's people here. There are people here. We'll just go to like a north spawn then. I don't want to party up. Nope. People, get away from me. I don't want to party. Not right now. I haven't used this north spawn yet, but I assume it's going to be just like the south spawn. Okay. So let's show an example here, right, of the bonus I'm talking about from automation. So let's just start. Let's only cast Spark Shield. All right, let's get hit. Block, please. Block, please. Okay, come on. There we go. 866. All right, so let's check it now with automation. There we go, 1286. See, I wanted to get hit on the chain golem. There we go, 1162. So it went up by 300. That's interesting. That's actually not as much as I thought it was going to be. I'll be honest. Because when I was doing my tests before, it was a more substantial increase. But I mean, it's still a good increase. I think it's because I wasn't using level 10 Spark Shield at the time. So anyway, now let's give this a shot, huh? So let's try to get everybody together here. Come to me. Use Compulsion. And then we'll use that. And we'll just hit. But you can see my tankiness is quite good for having absolutely no tanking skills. Now, I am using a Healing Bird at the moment. I don't know. I haven't tried this build without a Healing Bird to know if that's, like, absolutely vital to the whole process. Man, there are some heavy hitters here, actually. There we go. Okay. But yeah, just a disclaimer on that one. That is happening. Okay, I'm waiting for, like, a Grotesque or something to pop up. Hyper Machines. You hurt. Yeah, okay. So we got that. Pull them in. Cast. So you'll see that, yeah, I'm casting EO and Compulsion basically anytime they are off. Cooldown. There we go. So, like, anytime a Grotesque spawns, or, like, the big dudes, you just want to focus them down before anything else. Basically, your goal is to make sure that, that more monsters are spawning as much as possible, right? And yeah, you just continue the process. Not using Compulsion enough here. I'm kind of out of whack because of all the talking, but I'm taking a little more damage because of that. Because it's the 30 abs, right? So that's the thing you have to do about the build, right? You have to maintain that Compulsion. If you're not maintaining that Compulsion, yeah, you're going to start getting hit. And it's going to start hurting. But as long as you can get that plus 30 abs going. So here's what I have for defensive now, right? 15, 16, and 108. Now, weapon-wise, I don't really think I mentioned it, but it should be fairly obvious. This will only work with a Javelin, because you need to have a one-handed weapon to make this work. But, yeah. Well, that's it. So that's pretty much the build. Not too much more to say on it. If you have questions, let me know. I'll be curious to see if anybody attempts this, like I have been. It's an interesting build. It definitely doesn't take much strategy. Really, the most important thing to do when you're playing the build is just to make sure you maintain your buffs. Make sure you're casting EO when you can, and make sure you're casting Compulsion whenever you can. And just keep monsters hitting you at all times to try to get as much spark damage out there as possible. So, but that is pretty much it. So, yeah, if you would like to talk about this build at all, head over to the Pristontale EU Discord under the mech channel, and you can chat it up. So, see you later, everybody. Thanks for coming by, and have yourself a good rest of your day.